Welcome everybody to Benedict's Well. Welcome to you from all over the world. This time when we can spend together meditating, holding the whole world in our hearts, the troubles of the world, and praying for peace and praying for the well-being of others. So it's a precious time to have this time of meditation at the beginning of the week, so that we can orientate ourselves to being open-hearted during the week ahead. And we have very special speaker today who's been very open-hearted to join us in what's in the middle of the night for him. But I will introduce him after our time of meditation. But it's a wonderful thing that we are such an international community, and many people join us at all times of the day and night to pray together. So we'll take our time of meditation now, if you get comfortable. And take a moment just to be aware of the breathing. And we let go of any worries we have about the week ahead and open ourselves to the love of God to guide us during this week. We have a reading from Father Lawrence Freeman from his book, The Selfless Self. In meditation, we find the power that brings the constant change and daily transformation of human life to its highest development, because it roots our life in a faith that opens up into consciousness. In meditation, we find this power at our own source. We drink from our own wells, but we drink directly also from the spring that feeds the well. We drink in the light of being from the source from which light flows. The divine spirit, the eternal spring of living water. The more deeply we drink, the more faithful we are, the more we become light. And the opening prayer for our meditation. Heavenly Father, open our hearts to the silent presence of the Spirit of your Son, and lead us into that mysterious silence where your love is revealed to all who call. Maranatha, Maranatha. Come, Lord Jesus. Good. So introduce our speaker for today is Father Patricio Lynch, who is Servant Director, Mission Integration of Amigos de Jesus, a home for children in Honduras. He's a missionary priest, and the rest of the year he's in Argentina. I think he's Argentinian origin, I may be wrong, but he's where he's works with the offering scholarships for the villages of misery in Buenos Aires. And I heard today that he's been working with the Spanish-speaking Christian meditation community, doing the online contemplative masses in Spanish. So he's been working with Father Lawrence on that, and has recently been to spend time in Bonvo, and also even more recently in Monte Oliveto, Father Lawrence's monastic mother house. And he leads retreats in the Spanish Latin America, and is going to be part of the leadership program that Lawrence is developing for the world community for Christian meditation. So it's a pleasure to have Father Patricio with us.
Thank you, Stefan. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be here, and hopefully, I'm 7 hours earlier than you. Here is 2:30 in the morning. So it's an interesting experience for me. And I'm happy, I'm very grateful. I want to express again my gratitude to all of you. And I want to share about, my journey, my process in faith, in life. And as Stefan was saying, I'm a priest. I became a priest when I was 39. I was not that young when I became a priest. And there is a reason for that, because I was in the seminary for 8 years. I grew up in a charismatic movement. That was the way I used to pray. So imagine there was a moment in my life that I had to switch because I was searching for something deeper. And then I found the contemplative prayer, and that was my prayer after I began to pray in this way in 2009. And as I said, I was 8 years in seminary, and then I left, and because I met an American woman that I fell in love with, and I left seminary, and I was 4 years with her. We almost got married. We didn't, obviously, because I became a priest, a Catholic priest. But I'm sharing this because she was an extremely important person in my life. And through her, I met this organization in Central America. She was a volunteer in Honduras. And she was the one that talked to me about Amigos de Jesus, Friends of Jesus. And I came here for the first time in 2012 to Honduras. And that was another of these experiences that changed my life. So if I have to share which are the experiences that have changed my life, are three. One, to meet this woman and to be in a relationship with her. That was a life-changing experience for the good. Second, embracing the contemplative journey in my life. That was for sure a life-changing experience. And also, and maybe some of you are asking why I choose this name for the talk, tango. Tango has changed my life deeply also. I don't know if you know how to dance tango. If you don't, please do it. I guess in England, there has to be teachers. It's a fantastic, beautiful dancing. And please don't tell anybody, but when I visit my family in Argentina, I escape from my parish and I go to dance tango. Don't tell the bishop, please. But that's what I do in Buenos Aires. And again, introducing myself, I have 3 sisters. My parents are alive. All of them live in Buenos Aires. And as an Argentinian, I love football, obviously, Maradona, Messi. again, I love tango, I love to dance. And I want to share with you, let me see, I prepare a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so let us begin, because I want to do this. Maybe you think I'm crazy, but I like craziness. And when you think about tango and meditation, I think there are many good things that we can relate in tango and meditation. And again, in 2014, I'm not going to share many things, but because this is kind of intimate and private, but 2014 was one of my darkest years of my life. It was so difficult. I was like broken, completely broken in many areas. And that was the moment that I learned how to dance tango. Someone invited me, and that was, for me, was salvation to be in a group and to learn how to dance tango. And first, let me see. Well, when you see this picture, look how beautiful that picture is. And I will try to make the connection to meditation. When you see the picture, and I usually ask this question, and maybe if someone of you wants to turn on the microphone and answer, that could be nice. But if not, it's okay. I usually ask, how do you think that the leader in this case is a guy? How do you think the leader, this guy, is expressing to the follower the next move? With which part of the body you think the leader does it? Usually people say, okay, the leader express the next move with the arms. The answer is no. Other people usually say, okay, with the legs. No. Other people say, you know, thinking that this is a Latin American dancing. Some people say, okay, with your hips. Not with your hips, not with your eyes, not with your words, not with your head. So this is interesting. The way you do it is with your chest. So again, you can see how intense dancing tango is, because you are embracing someone very close. So it is a very powerful experience and an interesting experience. And you become, the body language is so powerful that you become one with the person that you are dancing with. And you express into your partner the next move with your chest. So there has to be a very powerful and intimate connection through tango, because that's the way that you are expressing to your partner the next move. And obviously, when we say chest, this is a metaphor to express our heart. And this is part of the connection that I do with meditation, because you know that the roots of meditation are coming from the tradition of the fathers and mothers of the desert. They used to speak about the prayer of the heart. And obviously, this is again a metaphor, because our heart symbolizes the love and symbolizes this deep area in our being, deep down in our core. And that's where we can open, that's the prayer that we do at the beginning, open our hearts, Lord, to the silent presence. So that's the way we are asking God to open our hearts to listen the whispers of God, to silence ourselves so we can listen. And this is something that happened in tango. With our chest, we communicate, and it is characterized also by a close hold and deep embrace. And again, I was telling you that that was a really dark year in my life, 2014. And I think maybe this sounds ridiculous, but in a dark moment, you need to be embraced. There is a huge need to be welcome and to be embraced. And that's what tango did to me. I became, with a group I was taking classes, we became really good friends. And they were people of light and at that moment of darkness in my life, especially, you know, being embraced dancing tango. I remember one of my teachers, he said to me, Patricio, when you dance tango, I don't know why, but there are some people that you make such a strong connection that after dancing tango with that person, you just want to propose to her and get married with that person. And not because maybe the person is pretty or maybe it's not pretty, but there is such a connection in that moment that you feel one with that person. It's impressive, believe me. And I was thinking, when we embrace someone, when we are hugging someone, just think about like hugging the person that you love the most. Maybe your partner, your son, your children, your parent, whoever. When we are hugging someone that we love, I know for sure that we experience life in the present moment. We are there. When I am hugging someone that I love, I'm not thinking, I don't have anxiety thinking in the future, or I don't feel attached to the past. I'm just in the present moment, and I feel fully alive. And I think that's also when we dance, and you can see their eyes, the two of them are with their eyes closed. And because there is a lot of trust when you are driving, you trust in your partner. And that's something that we do every time we do meditation. And I think for us, for people that have the tendency to have the control of everything, there are people like this, that we want to be in control of everything. And control is a big problem in our lives, because we don't surrender, because we don't trust. We want to be the Lord. We want to be the owners of everything, controlling everything, like a control tower. But when we dance tango, we have to be driven. We have to follow someone. We have to allow someone to lead us. And that means trust. That means surrender. And every time we do meditation, I think it's a way for us to allow God to lead our lives. That's a gift that we receive in meditation. We surrender and we let go our egos and the tendency to be in control. And that's a gift that we receive in tango. And something else, we are drawn into this loving flow, like the divine dance. I love to use metaphors to express our spiritual life. And I love this image of divine dance, because I truly believe that our relationship with God is dancing, is a dance, is a divine dance. I never thought in my life that I was going to become a priest in Central America, and I never in my life had the idea that I was going to be a priest working with children. I never had that idea in my life. And I never was expecting that I was going to be the next move of God as a dancer, as my leader. I never realized that he was going to do that, or he, she, whatever God is, right? But I mean, that was a move that God did in my life. And I think that's part of thinking our connection, relationship with God as dancing, because that's, I think, a characteristic of life. Life is dynamic. In life, so many times we have unexpected things happening, right? So, like meditation, when we meditate, when we embrace this discipline, when we do twice a day meditations, I think our life are transformed, and we are more open to whatever is unexpected in our lives. And I choose this quote because I think it's part of what tango and meditation is about, that they may be one and we are one, I in them and you in me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. Well, this is what I was trying to relate between tango and meditation. And I want to share with you, as I said at the beginning, part of my process and also part of my spirituality, what I've been searching. I believe that I feel thirsty of God. I'm still looking for God. I want more of God. So I keep searching. That's why I do meditation. That's why I go to retreats. That's why I talk to people. That's why I do spiritual direction. That's why I do psychological therapy. That's why I keep studying, right? Because I feel thirsty. I want more. And during my process in life, I changed my mind in many ways, especially through the education, the Catholic education that I received as a kid, right? And I changed and I arrived to this point. Maybe you share this with me, maybe not. Hopefully, yes, because I truly believe in this. In our journeys, in our life journeys, I think this is the goal. Divine union, not private perfection, is the goal of our faith journey. And I think this is so important because in our lives, we know, maybe in our lives, we know people that they may feel that they are not worthy of God. Some people that they feel that they are not good enough, that they are always thinking that they are missing something, right? Like, or people that in our churches, they just live in shame, in guilt, because obviously perfection is difficult to reach. I would say it's impossible. So that's why perfection is not the goal of our faith. Some people think that to be Christian, if we don't have to be sinful, and that's impossible. And again, the goal is divine union. That's why we are so obsessed in our churches with sinfulness. And here in Central America, oh my God, you should see how strong the clericalism is. And when you go to masses and you hear the priest preaching, it's just everything about sinfulness. We are so obsessed with sinfulness, with original sin. And I think we have to go to the first page of the Bible and recover the original blessing. God, at the very beginning of the first chapter of Genesis, says that all of God's creation is good. We are made in God's image and likeness. And this was a big switch for me because, as I told you, I grew up in a Catholic school. And I mean, the priests were great people, but that was what I remember. I used to listen from them. And I was a kid. So sometimes that's very hurtful because we became obsessed with sinfulness and we feel shame and guilt. And that's the way that we grow up. And that's something that we have to change. And I understand life and my faith journey like in the picture. You can see that little baby and is learning how to walk. And the father is grabbing her arms. And you, maybe yourself, are a father or a mother. So maybe you remember when your kid was learning how to walk. And you knew that the first steps, your son, your kid, he or she did the first moves, you grabbing the arms. But you knew that for the kid to learn to walk, you have to let him go, let her go. And you knew that your baby was going to fall. That's part of the process. And that's the only way we learn. We need to fall in life if we want to learn to walk. And this is important for our spiritual life, especially for those that have the tendency that want to be perfect. We need to fall in order to walk, to learn how to walk. And again, there was a mystic, a theologian last century, Teilhard de Chardin. He used to say that we are coming from the alpha point of history and we are walking towards the omega point. We are coming from Jesus, we're going to Jesus. From point A to point B. We are coming from loving hands and we are going to loving hands. That's why I choose this picture, because I believe that that's what is describing our journey in life. We're coming from these loving hands and we are going again to the loving hands. And during the journey, we will fall, but that's part of the process. That's why you are so close to this mystic. Maybe you read and you already know who I'm talking about. First the fall, and then the recovery from the fall, and both are the mercy of God. If you don't know her, please do it. And she's from your area, so Saint Julian of Norwich. Fantastic, beautiful mystic. And I truly believe what she says. Another saint that is so important in my life and is Saint Terese. And this expression, what pleases God, is that he sees me loving my littleness and my poverty, that blind hope that I have in his mercy. So many times, especially in my life, there was moments that I was struggling with my weaknesses. And I think that doing meditation in my life has brought a lot of healing, especially because through meditation, sometimes we feel the temptation to stand up and run away. We don't want to remain in silence. We don't want to stay in silence. We don't want to stay in stillness. Because we know that when we do meditation, there is a moment that sometimes all the ugliness that is within ourselves comes to the surface, right? And we don't want to go through that. And so meditation, at least in my life, has taught me that to stay still in silence and embrace my own weaknesses. And maybe this is too personal, but in 2017, first I will read this. Vulnerability is the driving force of connection. It is brave, it is tender, it is impossible to connect without it. In 2017, I was ordained a priest, and after my ordination that happened in Buenos Aires, Argentina, I came to my mission. I was in Honduras, and after a month, just after a month, I received a phone call from Buenos Aires saying, please, Patricio, come because your father had a heart attack. I was just ordained, and I was so scared because, I mean, when you grow up, you think your father will be there forever, right? That they live forever. So I went to Argentina and they did a triple bypass surgery. And because I am the only boy, I have 3 sisters, I was the one staying with him during the whole process of recovery. Since the first minute that he left the surgery, I was there. And for me, it was a very transformative and healing experience because my father, he's a loving person, he's great, but he never in his life, he said to us, I love you. He never expressed it with his words. Not because he doesn't love us, he does. And he lived for us, but he never expressed that in his words. And he was always this kind of person doing so many things at the same time. And that was the image that I had when I was a kid, that he was like a Superman, like so powerful. And suddenly to see him after surgery, after a triple bypass surgery, I saw him so weak, so vulnerable, suffering so much. That was, for me, that was shocking. And then when he recovered the capacity to talk, the first thing he said was, I love you, I'm proud of you. And I was so touched, and I received so much healing. And I think the miracle of that was for him to go through a really time of weakness and vulnerability. That's why I'm choosing this. And I truly believe this. We don't have to be scared of our weaknesses, because our vulnerability, again, as it says here, is the driving force of connection. It is brave, it is tender, and it is impossible to connect without it. Vulnerability. We made ourselves strong. We have toughened up, hardened up, and protected ourselves from being hurt. We have protected ourselves from vulnerability and disallowed the surrender. And here is the problem. When we close down our vulnerability, we are shielded from hurt, but we are also shielded from love, intimacy, and connection. They come to us through the same door. When we close it to one, we close it to all. I don't have to say more words about it. I think it's very clear, right? Well, if you allow me, I was talking about tango, meditation, how this has changed my life, and all the healing that I have received. But also, I want to share my experience as a missionary priest here in Honduras. As I told you, I met this organization through my former fiancé, and I came here in 2012, and that was a very life-changing experience for many ways. First, just to be in Honduras itself, it was powerful. It is one of the poorest countries. Oh, sorry, well, it doesn't matter, let's keep going. It is one of the poorest countries in Central America. It's a beautiful country. The people are nice, humble, but the economic situation and the social issues that they have is very sad. It's one of the poorest countries in Latin America and has one of the highest rates in murder. And those pictures were chosen on purpose because that's the reality of Honduras. We have a big problem here with the gangs. There are so many gangs because the youth, they don't have opportunities, so they go into gangs. Gangs members, the violence, the poverty, that's the typical house in Honduras, in the rural areas. They live in extreme poverty. A lot of children living, looking for food in the trash. I was talking with my bishop one day. He's from here, from Honduras, and I was asking him about the reality of children here. And he said to me something that is powerful, that he believes that most of the children in Honduras are being abused in some way because of many things. Excuse me. Something that is really sad about the culture here is the machismo. It's a very strong machismo country. And because of that, there are a lot of kids on the street because guys here, men here, they think they are more men when they have a lot of women. So they don't take any responsibility on their kids. So there are a lot of kids living in the streets. And because of that, there is a lot of abuse also. And that's why the other picture of migration, we all hear these stories of caravans running away from Honduras, trying to get into the US. But this is a story. I met this beautiful organization, Amigos de Jesus, a home for children. I will go fast. This is a mission statement. It's a sanctuary of hope, healing, and transformation in service to vulnerable children. Those are the founders, an American couple, Anthony and Christine, and Father Dennis O'Donnell, a fantastic, beautiful priest. He could be another that could give a testimony. He's been doing contemplative prayer for 40 years, and he's one of the best preachers I ever heard. He's great. Well, and he's also the founder of this organization, Father Dennis. And well, this is what we do. We teach them different, how do you call in English? Well, anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. They learn different skills for life, and they learn how, that's the way we clean the clothes here. That's our washing machines. And everybody learns how to cook. We try to fight against machismo because here there are very strong stereotypes. Women are just meant to be in the kitchen and men have to be served. So we try to change that from the roots. We don't want that to happen here in our home. So everybody cooks, everybody cleans. They learn, as I said, different skills, carpentry, welding. And faith, it is an important key. That's me when I was a deacon. I will tell you more about this happy guy, Samuel. He was so happy when I did his baptism. And we have a bilingual school. It's so impressive to see our children when they arrive from different awful situations. And after a period of time, they become so happy and they become children again. And they become bilingual. After 2-3 months, 4 months, they become bilingual. It's impressive. We have a lot of volunteers. Most of them are from the US, so they live here and they teach them English. And we give them education, as I told you. And obviously, we try them to keep their traditions, to love their country, their culture. Obviously, football is so important here in Honduras also. I don't play football anymore because playing with the kids a year and a half ago, they broke my knee. I have an ACL, so that was my end in my career in football. But anyway, And also, and this is the reason why I wanted to show this to you, because we do meditation with the children, and it is fantastic. Every day in the school, in the morning, the first 10 minutes, we do meditation. Everybody in the school remains in silence and in stillness. And it has brought so much healing to our children. Again, our children are coming from abuse, most of them sexual abuse. So you can tell how damaged they arrive here with a lot of trauma. And little by little, through the environment of love, giving them food, a bed, where to sleep, people that love them, and also meditation, they go through a process of transformation. And we have cases of many of them that they become professionals. We have lawyers, architects, etc. Meditation is such a gift. And we do Christian meditation. I was talking to Lawrence and I was telling him that that's the way we are doing it here. I have the project, hopefully soon, to start building a visitor center similar to Bombo. We want to build something similar that we have in Bombo, but here. So for visitors to come and experience meditation, and at the same time to be in service of the children, which will be a fantastic experience. Imagine to have a little Bombo here with meditation and also the contemplation and the action, to be able to serve the children. And I want to finish with a story of hope and healing. I was showing a picture of Samuelito. He is a special need young adult. And his story is very sad because this is what I heard of his story. His family wanted to get rid of him. And the way they did it was they put him on a bus with the direction of the capital of Honduras, which is Tegucigalpa. So just imagine for a second, being a special need young adult, he arrived to Tegucigalpa, he was confused, he didn't know what was going on, he was put there by his family in the bus, and he arrived to Tegucigalpa and didn't know what to do, was walking for days and starting to feel, hungry, in starvation. And he was found by the police in a really bad situation. So that was the way that he arrived to us. And now Samuelito will have a home for always, forever, because his special needs, so he will live with us forever. And he's happy, he's joyful, he's loved. He does meditation, that's interesting to see. And he's one of our young adults that he loves so much to come to Mass. And every time he sees me, I'm walking towards the campus, and when he sees me, he comes to me running and he does the sign of the cross in my head. It's like he relates me to faith. So he's so funny and he's so happy, and he will be safe forever as a happy young adult. And well, coming to an end, if I have to express what I have learned through dancing tango, through meditation, and through service, is I learned how to be grateful. I have learned to live in the present moment. I have learned how important embracing our weaknesses and our vulnerabilities is, to live happy with little things, and the meaning of life is to live for others. And as Father Richard Rohr, maybe you know him, if you don't know, look for him, he's fantastic. As Father Richard Rohr says, at the first stage of life, we work in our containers, but there is a moment that we start working in the contents of life. That's what I feel, what I am now. I don't care anymore about the container. I'm more looking for contents, for meaning, right? That's why I want to finish with these two expressions that I think are so beautiful. If you want to know what it means to be happy, look at a flower, a bird, a child. They are perfect images of the kingdom, for they live from moment to moment in the eternal now with no past or no future. That's a huge lesson that I learned here with the children of Amigos de Jesús. And this also, you can find this everywhere. Rivers do not drink their own water. The trees do not eat their own fruits. The sun does not shine for itself, and the flowers do not spread their fragrance to themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. Life is good when you are happy, but life is much better when others are happy because of you. Well, thank you for listening. And again, that was what came to my mind when I received this invitation to put together tango, meditation, and service. But that's the way I have received healing. Hopefully, well, this is significant for you. And it was great to share. I'm impressed that 90 people are present in this sharing. So it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Patricio. It's been wonderful to hear about your life and the work you do, and shared with great sincerity and love. And I hope you come to visit Ireland. With a name like Patricio, you have to come and visit us here. And your your surname, yes, Lynch. So I hear that you are Irish ancestry. So it's great to hear your story, and a great inspiration for all of us. The journey of healing, the journey of tango inspired us. You have to come and do some Irish dancing here, but we don't use our arms at all, just the legs going everywhere. And the love you've shown with the work with the children was very touching, very touching. And if there's any way that we can help as a community to give a donation or to pray for people or these sort of things, then maybe there's some way you can communicate that with us through some website or something. We can pass that around afterwards. So if you send any website information, then we can circulate it. Thank you very much. And I pass back to, I'm not sure who I'm passing to, Julia or Mary? Julia. Oh, I got to do the closing prayer, sorry. I always forget to pray. So, may the divine assistance remain always with us and with our absent brothers and sisters. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Stefan. And thank you to Patricio for that wonderful, wonderful talk this morning. I don't know if you've noticed that all the chats that are coming in, we will be sending all of those to you, because you've obviously spoken to the hearts of everybody this morning. So thank you so much indeed. And now it's time for us to look forward and think about next week. And next week we have Kim Nataraja talking to us about the 3 pillars of being an oblate. Now, Kim, as some of you will know, has been with WCCM since 1993. She's been an oblate since 1998. And since 1999, she's been director of the School of Meditation. She's led retreats and talks in many parts of the world. And she's also the author of quite a few books: Dancing with Your Shadow, Journey to the Heart, Sharing the Gift, and Food for the Journey. And the latest one is the Transformative Experience of Meditation. So Kim has an awful lot to share with us next week. So that's something for us to look forward to. And so now all that remains for me is to thank you all for coming. I know you've had a wonderful morning. So have a wonderful week, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. God bless.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hasta luego. Muchas gracias.
Adiós. Adiós.
Adiós.
Thanks.
Gracias. Adios.
Adios. Gracias.
Adios, gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
I go back to
Thank
sleep
you,
now.
Father. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a
Yeah.
good sleep. Have a
Gracias,
good
Thank you.
Father. Thank you.
God bless. Thank you.
Father.
I'm sorry about the goal of Maradona with his hand. I want to apologize for that.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. God bless. Love you all.
Blessings.
Bye.
Bye, Fred.
Keep well.
Get well, Fred. I hear you have COVID. So get
Yeah.
well.
I have to keep a distance.
Oh,
But God is guiding us, right?
yeah.